I find it curious that in Isaiah 45, verse number 18, God himself testifies, and he says, "For thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, God himself that formed the earth and made it, he hath established it, he created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord, and there is none else." Now, when God said in Genesis 45 and 18 that he created the earth not in vain, the term "in vain" is the translation of the Hebrew word tohu. Sound familiar? Formless. God says, "I did not create the earth formless. I did not make the earth void, empty. That's not what I did." So then, considering Isaiah 45 and 18, along with Genesis chapter number 1, verse number 2, we see that God created the earth perfectly, but it became a wasteland. Will you stay with me for a moment? The question is then, how did that happen? Again, Isaiah, in poetic fashion, gives us a clue as to what happened and who was responsible. Listen to Isaiah 14, verses 12 through 17. Isaiah says, "How art thou fallen?" And I'm going to read this from the New International Version. "How have you fallen from heaven, O morning star, O Lucifer, son of the dawn? You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the mount of assembly, on the uttermost heights of that sacred mountain. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. But you are brought down to the grave, to the depths of the pit. Those who see you stare at you. They ponder your fate. Is this the man who shook the earth and made kingdoms tremble? The man who made the world a desert, a wilderness, who overthrew its cities and would not let his captives go home. It was the adversary that caused the destruction of the earth. But from Genesis 1 and 2 and downward, we see God making things new. Between Genesis 1 and Genesis 1 and 2, Satan's fall caused havoc on the earth, but God fixed it. Satan's fall ruined the earth, but God fixed it. His rebellion caused an extirpation, but God fixed it. Satan's fall threw an earthly paradise into turmoil, but God fixed it. Why are you saying this high? Because Satan has messed your lives up, but God is saying, I'm about to fix it. Behold, I make all things new. Time that man appeared on the scene in Genesis, what had been a total wreck was now pronounced by God himself to be very good. Why? Because God makes all things new. Now, if you look at both Genesis and Revelation, incidentally, the two books that Satan never wants you to see. And he doesn't want you to see because Genesis shows us his origins and Revelation shows us his demise. Satan doesn't want you to know who he really is, where he really came from, what he's really about, and he sure doesn't want you to know that he has no real power and that one day he will be defeated, dethroned, and destroyed. See, Satan has many of the church folk thinking like John Milton thought. In Paradise Lost, Milton said of Satan, gave voice to Satan saying, I would rather rule in hell than to serve in heaven. But let me tell you the truth. He neither rules in hell nor serves in heaven. When he gets to hell, he will be nothing but a prisoner. And he doesn't want you to know that. Well, if you look at both Genesis and Revelation, you will come to conclude that God, when he does make things new, he is simply cleaning up what the devil has messed up. Satan messed up the first earth. Satan will ultimately mess up this earth. And this is what he does. It is his job, or at least he thinks it is his job. Recall what Jesus said of him. The thief cometh not but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. This is what the devil does. He is bent on destruction. Satan wreaked havoc in heaven when he led a rebellion of 1/3 of the angelic host in a revolt against the true and living God. The devil wreaked havoc when he fell like lightning to the earth, and he continues to wreak havoc in the lives of God's people. That's why you're going through what you're going through right now. That is why you're fighting tooth and nail just to survive. That's why you're doing all you can just to stay afloat in this storm that you found yourself in. Satan is a destroyer. His intentions are clearly defined in Scripture. Again, let me borrow the words of Jesus in John 10:10. The thief cometh not but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. In these words, Jesus tells us what this thief is intent upon. He comes to steal. He comes to kill. He comes to destroy. These intentions, stealing, killing, destroying, are demonstrated to us in startling detail in the story of Job.